Actually start. Hi, my name is Rory Canterbury. I'm host today on Archery Talk 101, and we have Scott on the line with us, and we're going to find out what his world of archery looks like, and we'll just kind of go from there. Have a lot of fun talking. Welcome to the show, Scott. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Uh,
Um,
Introduce yourself and tell us a little something about you.
so my name's Scott Brice, from Australia, live in Brisbane. Grew up in the rural areas of Australia. Um, been part of the Australian target archery scene for the last 13, 14 years. Been on the Australian team doing World Cups and World Champs and all that sort of stuff since 2013. And a couple of weeks ago, I had my last international competition and career, and I'm now officially retired from international competition.
Well, you did it for quite a while.
Yeah, yeah. Sucker for punishment, really. Um, but yeah, no, enjoyed it immensely. Really enjoyed meeting people and meeting new cultures and going overseas and all that sort of stuff. Before that, I'd never been overseas, so archery was my first trip leaving the country. So it's taken me to a few places, met a lot of nice people, even a few Americans.
Yeah, even a few Americans, huh?
Yeah, there's a couple there. They were all right shots, they
Yeah,
did okay.
yeah. So I mentioned over your many years of competing in archery, you've got some pretty interesting stories of some of the events you were at. Tell us about one of the uh, most memorable events that you shot at.
Oh, I'm trying to think which ones I can talk about. I think we'll leave the parties for another day. Um, um, one of the most memorable actually happened to a good friend of mine. Um, I think it was 2016 World Championships in Denmark, Copenhagen, and that was the one where it was a good friend of mine, Rio Wild. You guys would know him, obviously. And when he put in his score sheet, his three looked like a two on his score sheet. So World Archery took basically 100 points off him, and
Oh,
obviously, so he didn't make finals, and the team didn't make the team events, and it was a real weird one to see that happen just over someone's handwriting. It was very controversial at the time. There was a lot of commentary about whether it was right or wrong. But yeah, I still remember that, and I think it still stings Rio a bit every now and then because I remind him every now and then just for fun.
yeah.
I think the
When you
memes
write
are
your
still
threes, it
going
look
around.
like twos.
Yeah, threes that look like twos and twos that look like threes, but yeah, just came down to handwriting at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, that was a big one to do that in a world championship. That was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, that would be pretty bad when you score so much better than what it was just because they didn't read your handwriting right.
That exactly. Um, yeah, that was a big one. But there's been plenty of things I've seen over the years. Like I've seen Mickey Slosher, shoot, was it 717? Only dropped 3 points. His first person to clean the 360. Um, I was there when Rio shot the world record, which is still there, which is that 150 with the 12 X's. That was a big deal because that was the first time he'd ever shot his HBX or HBC, which was amazing. So it's good to be around those sort of blokes, and you sort of hope it rubs off, a bit of
Yeah,
osmosis. But yeah, seen some wild stuff. Seen some really good archery. Um, I don't know what else we've seen. Seen some crazy stuff off the line. Americans are always up for a bit of fun.
Yeah. We're always up for
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I think well, Korea just gone. The boys rocked up in their uniforms, and underneath their uniform, they all had shirts on with the face of Sawyer Sullivan on it. And I didn't get to hear the backstory on it, but it was quite funny watching them all walk around with Sawyer shirts on for a while. We
Yeah.
told them they should have put an American flag on it, and then and the names on the back, and they could have shot in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
You
What
never
else do
know
you want
what
to
they're
do?
gonna do. So is target archery mostly what you did? You didn't is there any hunting over in Australia or
Oh yeah, definitely. So I grew up in the rural parts of North Queensland, um, in a small country town. So yeah, I grew up hunting. I think I got my first air rifle when I was 5, and going around killing the local toads and stuff. Um, I think the my backyard was a no-fly zone for any bird in the area. Um, if it moved, it got shot, basically. Um, but yeah, and that's where the archery first started, I suppose. You know, the old fiberglass bows in the backyard, and then as we got older, my dad was a very keen hunter. In Australia, there's not a lot to hunt. We've basically got wild pigs. You can shoot the kangaroos and stuff like that if you've got a license, a permission. Um, Especially on some of the properties where they get into plague proportion numbers, you can get special permission to cull them. But we mainly hunt wild pig, which is always fun on foot with a compound bow.
yeah.
Oh, a bit interesting. But as we get older, we I think it was about 30 when I gave up walking around the bush with a compound bow hunting pigs, and we just bail into the back of the truck with shotguns, and you'd get a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it was a little bit easier on the lungs,
Yeah.
but we did a lot of hunting. There was a bit of deer hunting in the area. We've got some rooster deer up there, but very low numbers, very low numbers. So it wasn't the biggest thing in the world to do. A couple of people had them on their properties, and it was more of a novelty than anything else.
Yeah.
To go shoot deer. It's funny now that that was quite a while ago, but now the deer are everywhere. It's quite common. We've got deer in the cities now. You can even hit them with your car,
Yeah. Yeah.
which 10 years ago was unheard of in Australia.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're introduced. We didn't have deer before the colonials came and all that sort of wonderful stuff. Obviously we didn't have pigs either. So yeah, a lot of feral stuff. Other stuff we hunt, it sounds terrible. We also hunt wild horses. The brumbies, they get shot. And we got a lot of wild camels. A lot of wild camels in the interior of
Camels.
Australia. Camels, yeah.
Camels.
Yeah.
I never thought that Australia would have had camels.
Yeah, no, well, obviously the settlers brought them over way back when, and to go touring around the deserts to go exploring, and the population has just exploded. So in the interior of Australia, which we have a fair bit of desert, there's camels everywhere, which is quite interesting. Then they're interesting animal to hunt because they're quite large.
Yeah.
They stick out like a sore thumb. Then it's one of those things. I don't think it's very sporting, if you know what I mean. They sort of just stand there and look at you. So it's not the most exciting thing in the world to hunt. But you're doing the country a favour by knocking them over.
Yeah. Then what do they do with them? Do they eat the camel or anything or
I believe they do. I think some of it gets turned into pet meat. Quite a bit gets turned into pet meat. I do think they eat some of it as a more of a touristy delicacy thing. It's like coming over here and eating crocodile. The locals don't eat a lot of it, but the tourists love the stuff. It reminds me of that Crocodile Dundee movie when he eats that goanna and he goes, "It tastes like shit, but you can eat it."
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. So it's a bit like that. You can go to the local restaurant and eat camel if you're really keen, but I think if you saw them out in the wild, you wouldn't eat them. They're pretty filthy animal. Not like your deer.
Yeah, deer's a little bit different story, but I know like over here, at the turn of the century, they never figured deer would be a viable game animal, and now they're just, yeah, there's times when it's like, okay, how many you want to shoot? Just go buy
Yeah,
another license, and now they've kind of restricted them there for a while. They had pretty much unlimited season choice tags where you could shoot two does on one tag, and now they've kind of there's a limit to how many of them you can get now, but uh,
yeah. We don't have to worry
yeah,
about liberty. You can go out and kill as many as you want.
yeah. Yeah, we got them all over. I live out in a little village, in between two big cities, and I don't normally see deer going through, but we had a flood here not too long ago. We got about 10 inches of rain in one day, and everything all flooded, and I seen walking through my yard, I seen a deer print. It's like, well, I kind of chased them out of where they normally hang out in the trees. They were all underwater.
Yeah. We like it here when it dries out a bit and the water sources get a little bit lean and mean. Makes it a bit easier to find everything because they're all going to the one water hole.
Yeah,
Um, when it rains in Australia, it rains properly. So you end up, instead of driving around in the truck, you're in a boat, which makes it interesting.
yeah.
Um, you're shooting pigs from a boat. That's always, I always wish I'd videotape that.
Yeah, that would be a little more interesting.
Yeah, yeah, full draw with a compound bow, standing up in a boat. Yeah, there was a bit of rocking and rolling, trying to get everybody to stand still.
I know we both fish out of boats around here too, and um, a lot of them have a big old platform on them. So not only you got the boat, but you're up, 5, 10 feet up, on top of the
Yeah,
platform, so you can see down in the water and shoot pretty much, a little more straight down. And I've never shot off one of those, but I always just did it from the bank.
yeah. Well, I've never done the bow fishing. I've always wanted to, but in Australia, it's really hard. Like there's not a lot of areas where we have that carp. We basically most of our species don't sit at the top of the water, so it's really only the carp you can hunt. Um, and the government love it when you kill those bloody things. But there's only certain areas where you can find them. So it's in New South Wales, a bit further down south, where it's a bit colder. But up here in Queensland, we've got nothing. I've seen a few guys take them out to the reef and try and shoot sharks and stuff with them. Um, I reckon that's pretty wild. That'd be a bit interesting.
Yeah,
Um, you'd
especially
have to
hook
tie a
into a
rod
big
to
one.
your arrow, I reckon. Stand on top of the game boat shooting sharks. Um, it'd be quite interesting, I reckon. But
Yeah,
I've always do it. Always, I've seen the shows on TV where they go out on the airboats in America there, and you know got the old Matthews Genesis things with no draw
yeah.
pots, and that looks like the best fun in the world.
Yeah, that's a pretty popular one for it. I use a recurve just because when I get compounds in my hand, my mind changes on how I shoot them.
Yeah,
Like you shoot a compound and target. You go to anchor point. Peak is all that. Recurve, I shoot it completely instinctively. I look at the target and draw back and shoot at the target by focusing on the target. So, um, you know, I, I have yet to be able to shoot a compound instinctively. I just, for me, it doesn't work. Uh,
yeah. No, I don't
and
think that's good either.
if I go bow fishing, I grab my recurve and go with that one. So That's what I'm going to use anyway, because it's set up for bow fishing.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Well, it's funny because I shoot the same way. When I've got a compound bow in my hand, there's no way I'm instinctive shooting that.
No,
But with the recurve, that's exactly the way I was taught how to shoot. Just look at what you want to hit and don't think about it.
yeah,
And it
your
happens.
body will learn to adapt to where you're going to go, and
Yeah, yeah. But don't tell anybody I shoot a recurve that I'll get shot.
you're an archer, right?
Yeah, yeah. No,
What's archery? A stick with a string flinging another stick.
that's it. That's it. It's a bit of funny. We have a bit of fun over here in Australia. There's a fair bit of grief given to the stick shooters. Um, all fun and games, of course. We'd never take any of that stuff seriously, but yeah, it's always the old jokes about us having training wheels and yeah, they're the real archers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it does take a little more skill to shoot, a bare bow with no sights, just you and the bow.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. That's like the 3D guys who do that. You know, they shoot bare bow 3D, and I just look at them and go, "You're guessing the distance, and you got no sights. Good luck with that."
Yeah.
That's why they all do a song and dance when they actually hit foam.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't shoot a long ways with my recurve because I just don't spend the time to get good enough at it to do that. But bow fishing is 5-10 feet normally.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it'd be something if I do ever get over to America, and I promised I would. Um, I think I'm actually going next year for the Vegas indoor.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, got to go do that. It's funny. I've been shooting international archery for 10 years, and I've never done Vegas. Um, it's the funniest thing. I'm not a big fan of indoor. I think it's extremely boring. You
Yeah.
spend 30 seconds shooting your arrows, and then in 5 minutes scoring it. um, it's quite social, I reckon. But no, I want to get up there and get out there and try and do it. And while I'm over there, I was going to annoy a few people and see if I can go bow fishing and do a few other bits and pieces.
Yeah, the bow fishing is right about, in about this time is when it's really good. Especially when the cotton trees are starting to drop their cotton is it's a good time, early season.
Okay. And can you do it anywhere in the States, or is there certain places that are better than others, or
Um,
you have to find the nearest bayou?
yeah, yeah. Well, pretty much any of the lakes that have carp in them are good.
Yep.
Earlier season, they're more up on top of the water. Later season, they're down under the water, so you don't
Yep.
see them as well. So this time and May June time frame would be your better time to come because that's when the more in the spawning and they're going to be up and the top water is a little bit more. So later in the season, I don't see them on the top too often, but you know,
Yeah. And you do it at night time too. You spotlight them, or is that just
well, I think most of them do it during the daylight.
okay?
And I've got a few guys that I know that go out and do a lot of bow fishing, and there's tournaments they catch them, and there's guys that just go out and catch catch them. I guess you shoot them, but there's a lot of them. Now, if you want to challenge the Asian carp, those are the ones that jump as you take your boat going down. They'll jump into your boat.
I've seen those. I've seen
Yeah.
those. And
Now
that
that
looks
would
like
be
a too.
yeah, that'd be a challenge because they're jumping. You got to shoot them where they're moving. It's like you're on a trap team. It's like pull, except you're not saying pull. They're just jumping whatever they want.
Yeah. I've seen a few videos like that where the boys are sitting up there with their recurve bows at the back and just having fun. Um, that looks like great fun. But geez, that Asian carp, that stuff's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I don't know how it got started, but it's just kind of taken over because they're a real invasive fish, and uh, a lot of the rivers have them, and when they're in the rivers, they're just all over the place. And
Yeah.
when those flooding we had, um, we flooded into our ball field down here in a village that I'm at, and my wife mows for the village, and she found a couple dead carp on the ball field, so she just going to threw it over in the cornfield next to it, let it fertilize the cornfield. Makes good fertilizer for your gardens.
Well, I can imagine. I don't think that'd be very tasty, would they?
Uh, Carp, I've had carp that fixed, and I fixed it one time. I forget what I smoked it with. Um, I think maybe a flowering plum or a plum or something like that. And I was like, man, this tastes like ham.
Oh,
Smoked carp is good.
okay.
And we had one place here that used to fix a lot of carp, and what they do is they'd score them where all the bones are at, and then they'd
Yep.
fry it. So then all the place where they scored it was just fried to crisp, and it's like, yeah, you can just flay them out and get rid of the bones.
Okay.
I've done that when I did them. I just flay them out, get rid of the bones. It's basically the same bone structure like a walleye,
Yeah.
and everybody likes the walleyes. They don't think it's a problem. The bones, but in carp, they say the bones are a problem. I'm like, well, flay around them.
All right. Yeah. No, I can't say I've ever eaten carp. We're a bit spoiled here in Australia for sport fish and stuff like that. So we all eat barramundi.
Oh yeah. Well, you're kind of surrounded by water there, aren't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. We love our water. It's all we do.
Especially up there north, you got there. If you're in the, it's if you're in the central part of Australia, you're a little ways away from the ocean, but in the bordering ones,
Yeah.
you're
No.
not gonna
Well.
be that far from the water. Get some good fresh seafood.
Yeah. We're not far away at all. Well. Yeah. We all most of the population lives on the east coast. Um. I think 15 million out of the 20 million that are in the whole country.
Oh,
um. Yeah. No. We. You talk to the you know, guys and girls overseas, they all think we've got pet kangaroos and live on the beach. And you know, we come home, have a quick surf, pat our koala, and and do stuff like that. It's quite funny. But
not quite what really happens, huh?
no, no, mind you, the kangaroos are everywhere. That is one thing that is true. You can't walk 10 meters around here without seeing a kangaroo. But it's funny, everyone's fascination with kangaroos. You go overseas and everyone wants to know about the bloody kangaroos.
I'd say, well, how do they taste?
They're a bit gamey, actually. I'm trying to think what it doesn't compare to anything else. It's quite a gamey flesh, and it's very lean, extremely lean. There's no fat on a kangaroo. I think it must be because of all the jumping and running around they do. But it's quite funny. And then you see wallaby meat, which people think wallabies are the same as kangaroos, and the meat on the wallaby is the exact opposite. It's a really um, fatty meat. I can't say I've eaten it, but just the smell puts you off.
Oh yeah.
Whereas kangaroo, you take a chunk of that and it looks like prime beef. I don't know, but yeah, I suppose it's a little bit like venison. Venison's got that little gamey taste to it, but kangaroo's a taste all by itself. I'll have to send you some, mate. I'll cryo freeze it and send it over.
Oh, yeah, that'd be an interesting. You ought to try it.
I'll see if I can work something out.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll probably send your customs guys into a meltdown.
Probably. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, yeah, probably get nasty letters from the US government. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah. Hey, you're just shipping back some meat, right?
Yeah, just shipping some meat over. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they do it all over the world. I know we ship what do you call it? I'm trying to think what you guys call it. We call it abalone. Um, It's like a mussel. And we send that stuff live to Japan. Literally,
Oh, yeah.
on a plane 8 o'clock that night, and it's in Japan, 5-6 hours later. So I'm sure I can get some frozen kangaroo into America.
Yeah, we'll have to try that. And being a lean meat, just like with venison, you can't cook them high heat
No,
well done. They've got to be medium rare at best.
yeah,
The the best piece of venison I had was I killed a deer and I pulled out the tenders and I stuck them on the grill and I'm waiting for them to get done and kind of roll a bit because they always taper down. It's like, okay, stuck a fork in the tip, cut it off and ate it off the four corners. Yeah, and then it's like, okay, as that got cooked, I cut it off and ate it. So I'm eating it right off the grill.
yeah. And kangaroo's the same. You sort of just wave it over the grill, walk it past, and then it's done. You don't want to overcook it; it turns into a real chewy mess.
Oh yeah, I don't like any steak overcooked. It's just too hard to eat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think everything that comes out of this house is medium rare.
Yeah, yeah, it should be. There's no reason to have it well done.
No, no. Some of the
I,
wives of some of the boyfriends and girlfriends, well, some of the wives get it their way. They just want it black on the inside and the outside. So
yeah,
what can you do?
and then you get those. It's like, okay, 3 seconds on each side, done. Like I like to
Yes.
cook just a little bit more than that, but
Yeah.
depending how thick it is too.
Yeah. No, I've got some mates who'll take an inch steak and yeah, they're just eating it raw. They call it blue. I go, no, mate, that's raw.
Yeah, blue, yeah. I've heard them call it before. It's like, I want it blue. I'm like, blue. No, didn't that mean it's moldy?
Well, see, we do that in Australia. Any redheads called blue. I don't know why.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. We just call all our redheads bluey or carrot top or something like that. Being Australian, what is it? What's the saying? It's not bullying if the whole country does it.
Oh, yeah. That would be if the whole country does it, then I guess it's not bullying. Yeah.
No, it's not bullying. PC hasn't quite got over here yet.
Good. Hopefully it never does.
Oh, no, I see some of that stuff. We got a few every now that jump up and down, and mostly the coppers just taser them and lock them up.
Good.
Yeah, yeah. All those people with what do they identify as? I think anyone who identifies as a cat or a dog or anything like that, we should just take them out and hunt them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're sick, your dog or cat gets sick, you put them down. It's like, okay,
The game's
uh,
good.
you want to be a dog? Okay, I think you're sick. Here you go, put you down.
Yeah, they put you
Yeah.
down. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Yeah,
You guys have taken it to a whole new level, though. The stuff that you guys have to put up with. Oh my God. Where all those crazies come from?
yeah, yeah, they're showing up here and I think they're multiplying like rabbits.
You guys have got to do something about that.
I think that's starting to get that way where uh, people aren't putting up with them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like I'm sitting in the middle of a freeway, blocking
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah.
About times they run out in front of them and they get hit a few times. They're not going to stand out in front of there.
Yeah. Well, we had a couple of those stop oil protesters, and literally, I think they did it once or twice here in Brisbane. And the locals didn't even wait for the cops. The first guy on the line just got out of his car and started dragging him to the side, beating the crap out of him. They're all yelling for the cops to help them and save them and stuff. And the cops just taking their time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, I didn't see nothing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, You're
Yeah,
creating a hazard. I'm going to arrest you for creating a traffic hazard.
yeah, yeah. Well, they tried to stop all the big rigs getting into the oil refineries and stuff near the ports, and the truckers just got out of their trucks and beat the crap out of them.
Yeah. Well, they're interfering with their job. They're costing them money.
Yeah,
I don't know over
yeah,
there, but over here, a trucker gets paid by when his wheels are moving, he gets paid.
yeah.
Wheels aren't moving, he don't get paid. So while
No,
he's stopped, he ain't getting paid. He's costing him money. Because now
yeah,
then he can't deliver that load and go do another load.
yeah. Well, and the trouble you guys have got, you look sideways at someone, you get sued over there. Around
Yeah.
here, like I said, if the whole country's beating you up, it's not brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad that way sometimes where you don't know what you're gonna run into, so you always gotta be prepared.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you guys are lucky. You can have guns and carry them around in your pockets and all sorts of stuff. When
Oh yeah.
our government's not that lenient around here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's what they're trying to make us go that way, but it seems like there's a few people in there that are really taking it the other way, and our Supreme Court has started ruling um, in according to the Constitution and against all these anti-gunners, and that's why I carry something like this. It's an OC spray.
oh yeah,
Just just a little thing that just clips in your pocket, and you just flip the lever up and push the button, and nice little stream of OC spray comes out and burns their eyes and
that's awesome. See,
say
we're
say
not allowed to do that stuff. A lot of us do, but you get caught with it, you're in a bit of trouble. Yeah, we've got silly rules around that sort of stuff. Even with home defense, like I've got a baseball bat beside my front door because I was told if someone broke in and I went and got the baseball bat from somewhere else in the house, then it's premeditated. Whereas if it's just there beside the door, it's not.
so you're a baseball fan. You have lots of baseball bats, right?
Oh yeah,
All over the
yeah,
house.
yeah. Everywhere.
Nice by here. You can keep the guns right handy, whatever you want handy, and until this last couple months, if I left the house, I always had my gun on me. But
Yeah, so lucky there.
yeah, that
Well,
April 11th I had a triple bypass, so I can't shoot right now. So if I was to shoot my handgun, I'd be back in surgery, stitching my chest back together. So
oh,
it's like I don't even care because yeah.
you're
So
gonna be real. You're gonna be almost dying. All right, okay, this is worth it.
yeah. So yeah, it's been a long road. I kind of took a little time off doing podcasts just because trying to recover from everything, and I was
Yeah,
like, I got to start doing them. These are fun. I like talking to archers all over the world, and I've talked to archers from all over the world, and we all have kind of same stories, different stories, but I mean the same thing. It's just a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. Well, honestly, that's why I used to go overseas and get flogged all the time. It's just hanging out with a bunch of people. Being Aussies, we're always giving people a hard time, so that was always good. And then people get to know us after a while, and they're giving it back, and there's always a bit of shit being flung around, so that's always good fun. But yeah, very rarely do you find. I haven't met any what would I call them? Because you've got kids listening. Nice people. Everyone's usually quite friendly and quite nice, and you know, there's not many dirtbags in the community. Well, that I see anyway, especially in the target archery stuff. I'm sure out in the hunting community there might be some strange people you'd run into, but yeah, when you're shooting up on the international line, everyone's quite nice.
Yeah, most you hear of you hear of a few people once in a while, that are just kind of like douchebags or whatever you want to
Yeah,
call them.
yeah,
They're just
yeah.
they're just not nice people to be around. And one guy I was talking to on the podcast is he was struggling with something. The guy he was shooting against was helping him.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. The guy he was shooting against was, he was a little bit better shot, but
Yeah, yeah,
um, he was struggling with something, and the guy was sitting there helping him through some of his problems,
yeah, No,
and
we do
competing
that all
against
the
you.
time. Yeah, but you see that all the time. Like I had a competition not so long ago, just a state one, and there was some guy's first one. So his coach said, can he shoot on your target? And I went, yeah, fine, no worries. And just talking through it because he was so nervous he could barely load his bow.
Oh,
Uh, and it was just a state tournament, just to grab. For most of us, we'd done it 1,000 times, but this poor fella, he was dying. But we just kept joking with him and laughing with him and giving him the Australian way. We're giving him shit about shaking and shooting fire.
and he
um,
calmed down, I suppose, didn't he?
yeah, that's it. Think, oh, mate, I think you shot another five. But it comes good. But you see it over the international stuff. Guys break a bow, and the guy beside you will just hand you his, and all that sort of stuff. That happens all the time. A lot of times, bows don't arrive. Lost luggage is a huge thing.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's number one up there when you go overseas. What are you going to do if your bow doesn't arrive? Because a lot of the times it doesn't. And the whole community gets together. You'll get arrows from this person, and that person, and you make friends for life just because you borrowed the bow.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
um,
it's like that's why you need to ship a boat over and then take one with you. So maybe one of them will show up.
yeah, yeah. Well, we always had the plan that you take two bows, you give one to your mate, and he'd give you one of his, and then you got a 50-50 chance of someone's bag arriving. But of late, the Australian team is from all over the country. So there's like 6 hours of flight time between some of us,
Oh
which
yeah.
makes training a bit difficult. But you just can't do it. So I'm the only bloke in Brisbane at the moment in the team. Well, was in the team. And then there was a couple of people in the middle of the country and a couple of people at the other end of the country. So it's quite interesting when you got that dynamic. You can't do things like that. We sort of catch up. In Singapore, we all end up in the same flight from Singapore to wherever we're going, which is it's always funny because it takes us 24 hours to get anywhere from this country.
Oh yeah. I imagine, Australia is just kind of stranded out there in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, we're literally in the middle of nowhere. So when we do the Asian shoots, it's not too bad, but it's still 12-hour flight, to the northern hemisphere, and then but if we go to the States or to Europe or something, it can be 24, 36 hours of travel time, and then you get there and you got to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want to go too early because then you got to figure out what to do for that whole next day to recover and just shoot and go, right?
Oh yeah, you always do the math backwards on the plane, trying to work out when you're sleeping, when you're not sleeping, and all that sort of stuff. And you got to do the homework with your sleeping pills, make sure they're not banned, or you're going to end up getting a drug test and getting done for cheating or something like that. So you got to make sure your sleeping tablets are all right. But that's the fact of life. That's how you got to do it, because you can't get there a week before. Well, you can if you want to pay another week's worth of accommodation, but it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you got to take off an extra week. You got to pay for an extra week of staying there, and um, I can see, a day or two just, get acclimated to the time zone, but
Yeah, that's basically all you can do. We're a bit lucky because most of the comps, and I don't know if this is a me thing or an Australian thing, but if we go anti-clockwise around the planet, we don't get jet lag. But when we go clockwise, we do. So I don't
that's
know
weird.
I don't know if that's a me thing or but yeah, if I fly to Europe, when I get there, I don't get jet lag, but on the way back, I do. It's quite strange.
That's weird, unless the fact that you're going back in time, your time
Yeah,
zones are decreasing. For coming, you're actually losing an hour, 2 hour, whatever the time zone changes are, as opposed to
yeah.
gaining more time.
I don't know
I don't
because
know. It's weird.
it's weird. It's really weird, but I usually don't get jet lag until I get home. But I haven't been to America, but I've been to the islands, like Tahiti and stuff like that. And yeah, I get jet lag going there, which is a bit weird, but none on the way back. Things about international archery. So you're learning something new every day, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just never even thought about that.
Things you do, things you do.
Yeah, because
So did you
sometimes you just can't
target
stay up.
archery or sorry?
Sometimes you just can't stay up the hours to sleep at the regular sleeping time when you get there, because then you're
Oh
just
mate,
too
not me, not
tired.
the mine. Like I'm well in my 50s now. I'm in bed by 8:30.
Yeah, I got you by a few years.
Ah, that's all right. Well, that was one of the reasons I retired. I think my last competition, I was 7 years older than my nearest competitor in age, and I went, "Oh, it's time to give it a go, give it away." It's a young man's sport, that target archery. These kids now shooting the scores they're shooting. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, I can remember, when I was, many years ago, you could win a 300 tournament, um, you know, 295, 298, you were 298, sometimes maybe 299, it would be the winning score. Now, if you don't get 300, you're not even in the running.
No,
Now,
no,
if you don't get 300, and then you got to get, out of the 60 X's, you got to get at least 50 X's in order to even really, take first place.
yeah,
299 puts you in last place almost.
yeah, yeah. You don't even make the cut anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the same with the 700. The 720 stuff. Like when I first started, 700 was the benchmark. If you were shooting around 700, 702, you're an archery god. um,
Yeah.
you just and 690 or something like that was the rest of us. Us mere mortals were in the 690s somewhere. And now I think on my last comp, uh, if you didn't shoot 700, you barely didn't make the cut. And I think the top 15 shooters were 713 and above. So the benchmark's not 700 anymore, it's 710. If you're not shooting 710, you're wasting your time. It's
Yeah.
it's and it's just amazing. And I've always wondered why though, because people obviously get better and better and better, and it's always been hard for the Australians and a few other teams, like because we are amateurs. But I've got a job. I work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, all that sort of stuff. And then we train afterwards where, you've got the Mikey Sloshes and all those sort of boys who just shoot every weekend. You're always hard up against that. And I don't think it's the technology either. I think it's all that stuff around, your mental awareness and how people train their brains nowadays. Because
Yeah.
some of these
It's
just switch off.
yeah, it's not as much the bow. Oh, the bow technology has gotten much better,
Yeah, yeah,
so that gives you an advantage. But you take a top shooter, they can shoot on a low end bow or high end bow and still win with it. It's
Yeah.
all the technique that they learn. And, when I first started, it was like, you know, fingers, you just kind of hold your finger, just open your fingers. Well, that's not consistent. You've got
No.
different techniques to do. So the training techniques gotten better. And the release, you just pull the trigger. Well, you don't do that anymore.
No.
You you know,
No.
the first time I heard a back tension release, the guy was talking about it, and I was like, well, how do you know when it's going to shoot? Well, the key is you don't want to know when it's going to shoot, you know? And then when I went through in 95, I went through and learned the back tension and, become an archery instructor, NFA archery instructor. And, I spent many years in martial arts, in Hapkido, which is a lot of techniques similar to what we're doing. And so I incorporated my martial arts training in with the archery, and I kind of combined them into one. So I have a little bit different way of teaching. And, then when I teach them, of course, I'm going to tell you why I want you to do it this way.
Mm.
You get some of the coaches will say, well, do this. Well, why? Because that's what you need to do it. No, it's not. So I teach one way, and then I modify it depending each person different.
Yep.
Your technique for shooting your compound bow is going to be slightly different than mine. Even though
Oh
we're
yeah.
both using back tension release, we're going to do a little bit different.
Yeah.
There's
No.
a slightly difference in the way we're going to do things, and that's where over the years of teaching not only martial arts but archery, you kind of learn as okay, this isn't working. I can't keep telling you to do the same thing. Let's figure out something different.
Yeah.
And you can teach people how to do something in multiple different ways.
Oh, for sure. Actually, it's interesting about the martial arts because my wife was big into martial arts and second dan black belt actually, and did it for years and years and years. And I think it was about 2 years ago she retired from the martial arts. Hit 50 and the body just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
And she took
What
up
art did
archery.
she take?
Sorry.
What art did she take? What was she studying?
She was a karate.
Karate? Okay.
Yeah. So or some form of karate. I'll get in trouble for not knowing. Um, but yeah, so 2 years ago she took up archery just to come and annoy me. So I didn't have any time to myself. um, and it's quite funny because she knows where her body is and she's very aware of wherever all the bits and pieces are. She is extremely good at archery. She's not world class or anything like that, but she comes straight out of the gate, straight as a solid 650 shooter, and she's just getting better and better and better. And that's all to do with the martial arts. I tell her that you need to put your elbow back here a little bit more, and she knows straight away what to do and how to do it, and it actually goes a long way because you get a lot of people. Because I coach all the young'uns, and it's hard sometimes because they just don't know where their body is and have
Right.
no idea.
Well, and that's why a lot of times I'll have them shoot their eyes closed. Get close enough they're not going to miss the backstop,
Yeah.
and close your eyes, because with your eyes closed, your mind
Yes.
can see what your body's doing. You open your eyes and your mind can't see what your body's doing. It could be
Yeah.
flaying all over. You won't see it.
Yeah.
And your
Yeah.
wife, the martial arts training, she can picture where her body is without closing her eyes. And
Yeah.
that's what helps. Okay, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. And she can pick it up. And, when I take somebody new, I ask them if they're an adult, generally. A lot of kids haven't had it, but I ask them if they have any martial arts experience. And if they say, yeah, they say, okay, the pressure you're putting on the bow is a heel palm strike.
Mm.
Because the heel palm strike is done with this part of the hand, not over here or over here, because it turns the hand. That's connected clear through your whole shoulder. That's what you're pushing with. And then, it's like, okay, I don't have to try and explain it to them because they know that technique. And, that just saves me a whole lot of hassle. trying to explain to them, you know, the way it works. And lots of times I'll take, okay, push on here, then move the hand over here. Oh, your hand wants to turn and wants to turn. You can't do that. Here's where your force is. And, you know,
Yeah,
I go through, do a lot of explaining. And
yeah. And
I went out to Cabela's not too long ago, and they don't have anybody there that knows anything about archery really. And I'm teaching the one guy, he's like, oh, he's having trouble. So I was like, where? Do this, do this, this. Oh, oh, that's what you're talking about. So I got the guy supposed to be teaching how to shoot when you buy a bow, how to actually shoot.
yeah, yeah. I use a lot of shooting analogies with mine because obviously a lot of people shoot, and I was an ex-pistol shooter before I was a bolt compound or archery thing, and a lot of the pistol shooting goes across, obviously, because you know, stand there and your hands waving around, and you know, while you're squeezing off the shot, you know, I do a lot of that. While explaining to people if they've shot a gun before, you know, have you ever done it not on a bench, you know,
Yeah.
standing upright, you know, and the thing's bouncing around? What do you do? I mean, archery's the same. You sort of just, you know, squeeze the trigger and, or, you know, whatever they're shooting, you know, you're not just yanking on the thing. And a lot of people get that when you start talking to them about that sort of stuff, because they think you just put it up. And I must admit, I punch. I punch like a spider. Not as bad as Lutzy or Mr. Gillingham, but I would definitely command shoot. And it's a funny thing, since I've retired, the Australian coach is still working with me, and he's basically taken all my thumb triggers off me, and all I'm left with is one hinge.
Can't punch a hinge.
So at the ripe old age of 53, I'm starting to shoot a hinge. Which is quite funny. We spent a couple of hours yesterday working on it, and I don't like it. But it's funny because I teach people the right way to shoot, and you know, I always have the conversation with them. I said, don't shoot like I do. Do as I say, not as I do.
You're right. Yeah, that's a little bit harder because they're watching you to get the clues. And
Yeah, yeah. Okay, don't watch me. And all the other coaches are the same. They catch the kids standing behind me watching me, and they're going, no, move along, don't watch him.
don't watch him. He don't do it right.
Yeah.
He still, we can't teach him new tricks.
Yeah. I say, well, you know, I turn around and go, well, it's working for Lutzy, so there must be something in it. And Tim's done all right, so come on. There's a place in the world for punches.
Yeah, it's called a boxing ring.
I just tell them you got to be very mentally strong to be a puncher.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that dreadful target panic streak comes in. Well, am I allowed to say target panic on this channel?
Yeah. Well, if you're pulling the trigger, you're going to have target panic sooner or later.
Yeah. Well,
Quit pulling the trigger.
Yeah. Rio always said that everyone's got target panic in some form or another. And if they don't, they're lying.
Yeah, that's why, you know, back tension release. You're not pulling the trigger, putting pressure on it, and you don't know what's going to go off. You can't have target panic.
No, apparently. I found out yesterday I'm really good at punching a release aid, though. Sit there and give it the big old flick. Apparently, you're not allowed to do that either.
Yeah.
So how do you shoot your? Because I know there's different ways of setting up a back tension off. So you know, as the veteran archer who's just trying a hinge for the first time, I was trying yesterday that relaxing my fingers while pulling, obviously, but also relaxing a little bit at the same time. Seemed to work for me a little bit. Also tried what I'd call the Braden Gallen, where you hang on to he hangs on to his thumb button still, and I think he basically sets it off with his little finger.
And that's still pulling the trigger if you're using the little finger.
Well, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
And I found even with the relaxing of the fingers, you could almost, relax your pointer finger and the thing went off. And I'm going, well, all I'm doing is just using something else to trigger the button.
Right. So what
And then
I'd
I get
recommend
it to go
doing,
off by doing that, pulling these two
yeah.
things, and it went off and going, oh, this is cool. I'll just do this.
Well, what happens is if you're using your fingers to fine motor skill, aiming is a fine motor skill. Humans can't do two fine motor skills at the same time. So while you're aiming, you can't move your fingers. As soon as you start moving your finger, what are you thinking about? Your finger. Not aiming anymore. So now what are you aiming at? You're not aiming. You're just pointing. So what I would do with the hinge, well, that's the same thing I do with the handheld I use, is when you're drawing back, you got to really exaggerate going forward, and so it don't go off on you as you're drawing back. Once you get to your anchor point, now then you're gonna put it up straight, and now just pull back. I don't know if you can see very well, but pull back this way, kind of like push that elbow back, and pushing it back, it's going to drop down, and that's the motion right there. Nothing moves on your hand. Then you're going to start it, because what you're going to do is aim, start pulling back, and continue aiming, because you can use your big muscles while you're aiming. So then you're not using your fingers or anything else, and that process rotates that release over and makes it go off.
Yeah, that makes sense. See, punching is so much easier though. If you just have your I used to have my trigger so light that if I shook it, it went off. And I could still manage to wrap my thumb around it. People never worked out how I did that. But because it was so fine, I basically used the force to set it off.
Oh, my son has a light trigger on his, and I can't shoot it. I had a Carter chocolate addiction. I've had it for several years, and I have the heaviest spring you can put in them, because I want that trigger to be hard. Because I put my thumb, I put pressure on the part of the release that, those handheld ones, they have that little knob on them. I took mine off because I bury the trigger right in my hand where my thumb meets my index finger. And now then I bury it pretty deep into my hand. And now then I can just pull back and it will go off. Now, if I wanted to, I could just tighten my fist up and it'll go off, because I've got it in there that tight. If I just make a fist, it'll fire. If I'm hunting and I have to do it, but I still use the back tension when I'm hunting.
Well,
Yes, because that's what I use for when I hunt. Because nice thing about it is it hooks to my loop, and I just let it hang on my bow. I don't have to look at it to hook my release up. I just find the string, put string between my middle and ring finger, and slide down, grab the release, and I go. I don't have to look at my bow.
No, I must admit, I've only ever bow hunted pigs, and I've always used a wrist when I go bow hunting, only because I don't have time to, muck around with when the pigs are coming at you. I'm sitting there going, squeeze. It's put the pin on the thing and punch the crap out of it.
Now, I still fire my wrist strap with a back tension, but I put the trigger on the second joint, and then I can put pressure on it and still pull through, and still goes off.
And a lot of the good wrist, like there were a couple of good wrist strap shooters in target archery, and that's exactly what they did. They basically just wrap their finger around it and use it as a back tension. It was great. There's a South African, Patrick Rue, did that. And he's still shooting, I think. I don't think he's retired just yet. And there was quite a few that did Mark Trillis. He was really good at it. He's from your way, Canadian boy. and who else was there? Sergio Panye, he's now coach for the Indian guys. He's really good at it. So yeah, it goes to show if you've got skill and you know what you're doing, you can make anything work. That's why I always laugh when people go, oh, this bow, that bow, you can only shoot a Hoyt, you can only shoot a Matthews or PSC. It doesn't matter. They're all pretty much the same. If you know what you're doing, they all work.
Right. A top shooter, that Matthews was real good at paying a lot of extra cash if you win with their bows.
Yeah.
So a top shooter, a professional shooter, that's their job is to make as much money as they can shooting a bow. Which one are you going to shoot?
Yeah,
I'm going to shoot the one that
money.
pays me extra money when I win.
Yeah.
So that's good marketing ploy. Are they the best bow? No.
Who knows? Who knows?
Are they good bows? Well, yeah. Pretty much all the manufacturers out there now are pretty much make bows that are, really good. If they have a lower end entry level one, they're entry level bows. They're not finished as nice and pretty, and they don't come with your top end release sights and rests. They come there. Your top bows don't come with anything except the bow. There's no rest, no sights, none of them, because if I'm going to be buying one of the top end bows, I don't want them to pick the sight I want. I want to pick the sight I want. I'm going to pick the rest I want. Now I do recommend new archers. I do recommend new archers getting good quality releases. I was helping out here in Nebraska. They had Become an Outdoor Woman. A friend of mine, she teaches that, and I was helping her with the archery. And I was still teaching them, put the finger on the trigger and then pull the hand through. But the releases they had were so bad, they moved probably a quarter of an inch before they fire. You can't do back tension on one of those. It's too much travel. So she just had to, you can still do that, but you're going to have to pull through with your finger as you're doing it. That's why I say spend the money. Don't buy them cheap $20, $30 releases.
Yeah, you got to.
They don't even work as a backup.
China.com and buy the good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Scott makes some really good wrist straps. I've got one I bought from a guy back in the 90s, and it has a hook on it, and I still have it, still use it. That's the one I go to when it's really cold out, because here in Nebraska, you might be out in below freezing temperature, and I'm not grabbing this hunk of aluminum with my bare hand, basically, because my glove I use that has basically just a little bit on the back of my hand and a little bit on the palm of my hand. Other than that, it's just it's one of those fingerless ones that have the finger gone in them, but it's so beat up because I need to be able to feel the trigger. And when it gets really cold, I can't do that. Then I go with the wrist strap. And the only thing I need is my index finger out. Everything else can be in the glove. I don't need anything else. I just need to feel that trigger. And I can keep my hand in my pocket there and keep everything warm. But then I could find my string, find a loop, hook it up. I don't have to look because it isn't a caliper that closes around it, because it's just a little hook. So I like those that way.
We don't have that problem in Australia.
They don't get that cold.
No. We got one mountain range that gets snow on it. And that's way down south. Where I live, the coldest it gets is about, I'm going to talk Celsius, so I don't know how to change it, but probably around here, it probably gets to about 8 degrees Celsius in the middle of winter. And that'd be with a wind chill factor. At night.
Zero's freezing, so you're about 45 maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Fahrenheit.
But then during the day it's 23. So I don't know what that'll be. But in summer it's just hot.
Yeah, if it don't get cold, it's gonna be really hot.
No, we just get hot. You don't want to be you never want to come to Australia in summer.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Well, we were in Korea and everyone was whinging how hot it was. It was like 30 degrees or something like that. And all the Americans were whinging and everyone's undercover and, in the shade and all that sort of stuff. And there just happens to be four dumb Australians standing out in the sun having a chat. We hadn't even noticed. Meanwhile, even the Arabians are in the shade.
Yeah, 8 Celsius is 46 degrees Fahrenheit.
There you go. So what's 40 degrees? That'll be interesting. Because that's our average summer.
104.
There you go.
104 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so about 100 degrees Fahrenheit is our average summer, which is a bit tropical.
Yeah. And then you probably have a fairly high humidity too with it, don't you?
Oh, it'd be 100% humidity. It's funny when you walk outside of the air conditioning, the heat, it's a physical blow. You can actually feel it.
Yeah, that would be tough. Yeah, I think wintertime would be the time to come to Australia.
Yeah. Oh, especially for people from Nebraska, for sure.
Yeah, a heat wave. I remember one time a place I was working, the main office was down in Florida, and I'm going down there in the wintertime. Of course, leaving from Nebraska, I have my suit and I have one of those sweater vests on and my tie, and then I have my winter jacket. I get down there and I left the winter jacket in the motel. I'm like, I don't need it. And they was talking about it's like, well, it's really cold. Might not let your car might not want to start too well, and they let it warm up. You got wussy cards or what? This is heat for us, you know. So I go walking in. Yeah, I'm driving there in my suit. I do have a sweater vest. It's like, wearing a sweater underneath my suit coat. And I was just fine. And one of these guys come in with a great big parkas like you'd use in the Arctic. Great big old heavy parka with the big old hood and the big fur around it, the face all bundled up. But then it's like, what are you doing? But he's used to being so hot, 40 degrees was cold for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was freezing.
Freezing for us.
Heck, in the wintertime when it warms up in the 20s or 30s, we're out in t-shirts.
Yeah, see, you guys are mad. Absolutely mad.
Well, when it gets so cold when you're walking on the snow, it crunches.
Oh, well, the wife wanted a white Christmas this year because, I saw snow once from afar, and she's pretty much the same, and so she wanted a white Christmas, and I said, oh, fine, wherever you want to go, just book it. I don't care, just tell me where we're going. So she's booked us for 2 weeks going to Lapland, which is basically the Arctic Circle.
Does she realize how cold that gets up there?
No. She's slowly working it out because they've sent us a special list of all the special clothing that we need. So we're going to spend 3 days in Helsinki, I believe, just shopping for the appropriate wear.
It could easily get down to minus 40.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it was funny because I was in Korea and I was talking to Martin Damsbo from the Netherlands, and I said, mate, give me the inside line on what gear I should be getting. What's the good brands and all that sort of stuff that actually works. And he just started laughing. He said, mate, it doesn't get that cold in the Netherlands. I wouldn't know. So yeah, I'm in trouble there. I'm in big trouble.
She wanted a white Christmas.
Yeah. So we got a white Christmas, all right. It's going to be good though. I think we spend a couple of nights in one of those glass igloo things and watch the aurora and all that sort of wonderful stuff. So trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to be freezing. It's going to be nuts. I think I'm just going to take a car battery and attach it to myself.
Well, and the hard part is you're not used to the cold, and it takes a while to acclimate to the cold, and it never gets cold enough there. We're here, when it starts, summertime, it starts getting down into the 60s and 50s. Like we're putting coats on, and in the middle of the winter time, though, it gets up to 50, 60, where it's like 40s and 50s. We're outside with t-shirts on. We don't spend
Yeah,
a lot of time out there, but I won't drive anywhere without having nice winter coats. But
yeah,
if I need to, take the trash or something, it's like I just walk out. It's like because so used to being cold and then it warms up.
yeah. Well, see, I do that ice bath thing because I'm old and broken, and it helps a lot after a competition to just go and sit in that thing for 5 minutes. But I basically told the wife, I said, it's going to be like sitting in that thing all day, every day. It's going to be cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I said, trip of a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll send you some photos. All you'll see is this guy walking around in this massive hoodie, parker, and two eyeballs, walking around like this with 6 layers on.
Make sure
And
you
he's
have sunglasses.
hmm?
Make sure you're wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, they said that because you get frozen eyeballs and all sorts of stuff.
Well, not
Um,
only that, the glare off the snow
yeah,
because you get this glaring right into your face, and then call it snow blind because the sun is shining down, reflecting off of that. Just
yeah,
take in where you're at, and take a white car and let the sun shine on it, and then try and look at the car.
yeah. Bit like welder's flash.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that'll be fun.
yeah. It'd be fun.
It'll be
So
fun.
what do you do for your day job?
The day job, I am a project manager. So I work for a non-for-profit, and we build medical centres here in Queensland. Yeah, been doing that now for 15 years. Always been in the health side of things. Always building medical centres and all that sort of stuff. Really young when I first came out of school, I was managing pubs and clubs and hotels and stuff. But then yeah, got into the building side of things, and I'm no builder. I'm good at telling people what to do.
Well, the project manager doesn't have to know how to do everything, just needs to know who they need to call to get it done.
That's it. That's all I do. That's all I do is just
Make sure
make sure
everybody's
people
getting
do
it
it and
done when
say
they
they're
need
going
it
to do
done.
it.
And
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that which is good. It pays all right, pays for our trips because we're not funded Archery Australia fund us a little bit. But in Australia, because it's compound's not an Olympic event, the government don't fund it. So it's quite funny. The recurvers get funded, get government funding and all that sort of stuff. And the poor old compounders get very little. Arts Australia are pretty good though. They try and help where they can, but obviously they can't use government funds where it's not supposed to go,
yeah,
and stuff. You get in trouble for doing stuff like that. So this year they funded us some accommodation and stuff like that, which was good. But as a whole, normally we have to pay ourselves, which is another thing with we got some really good youngsters who can really shoot. We just can't afford the trips.
yeah,
It makes it hard. Makes it really hard. Fortunately, at the moment, we've got a really solid team. And most of the kids can afford the trips, or their parents can. So yeah, the future's looking good anyway.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now the old guys out of the way.
yeah. It's kind of nice when they can get little help from something, so you don't have to foot the bill all yourself. But they take plenty of money in taxes. It'd be nice to give it back to somebody that's good for something like that, and
Yeah.
instead of you know give it to people for doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, we always laugh because our government gives aid to some of these countries, and then you turn around to go to a World Cup, and their archers are fully sponsored, and you're thinking, how does that work?
Yeah, you're sponsoring your competition.
Yeah. Always makes you laugh a little bit. Because if you didn't laugh, you cry. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things. We know straight up that we're not going to get much funding or stuff like that. So if you choose to shoot a compound, that's just the way it goes. One day it might end up in the Olympics. Who knows? Probably as an indoor sport, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, they're constantly, they're looking at adding new sports and stuff all the time.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
know. We talk about it all the time, and I suppose you could always do outside compound and just bring the targets closer and all that sort of stuff. But we always thought, because the pistol shooting now is down to just air pistol, I think. I think all the other ones have been taken out. There's not a lot of shooting events left in the old Olympics, which is a bit sad. But
Yeah.
you could do indoor archery in the in the pistol range, I suppose. But I think that's the only way they can get it in is do something completely different from what the recurvers are doing. Something like that.
Yeah, it's it may get in, who knows? I
Yeah.
know in skating, ice skating's been in there for, a long time, and then they started looking at getting roller skating in there. And
Yeah.
I was actually here I participated in one of the exhibition ones for the Pan Am Games in speed skating. And
Oh,
and
really?
then was using quads instead of the inlines I do now. They
Yeah.
went back to the original skates, roller skates, the inlines. Everybody thinks that inline's the newfangled thing. No, that's the first
No,
patent
no,
roller
I grew
skate
up
was
in
inline back in the early 1800s. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun and a lot of do that good stuff. And then now it's an actual event, and then I started doing the short track,
Yep.
and they show that a lot, in the winter games. But if you ever seen the ice short track, they copied that after the roller skating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a 100-meter track and an oval track, and so that it looks exactly like what I used to do. It's exactly like the only difference is they're on ice with blades, and we were
Yeah,
on floors with 8 wheels.
that's it. Well, this year, I think in Paris they've got breakdancing as a Olympic sport.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's kids
They put
listening to
breakdance. They can put compound
going,
bows
"It's
in.
good." Breakdancing is cool. It's funny because breakdancing was cool in Australia in the I think early '80s. That was about it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's done it since.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
I never got into doing that kind of stuff because I think I was too old when that come along. And yeah, I'm not getting down on the ground because it takes me too much work to get up. Yeah, I can get down. It's just getting back up.
yeah. I'll give them this. They got to be fit to do it, but I don't know how it's an Olympic sport.
Yeah, you never know.
Never know. Hey, Mike, we might be breakdancers next week. You never know.
Yeah,
They'll put,
I'm
they'll put in
afraid
boots next.
any breakdancing I'd be is because I broke something.
Yeah. You'd be a bit like me, mate. Last time I went for a walk, I met all these new people, the ambulance drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Very unfit. Very unfit.
Well,
Not a lot of cardio on archery.
what
Unless
was
you,
that?
I said, there's not a lot of cardio in archery.
Oh no, no, there's not. Unless you're doing outdoor 3D, because then there's a lot of walking.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's
But
the walking.
I think if I ever did any deer hunting, it'd be from a tree stand. I'd be knackered otherwise.
Oh, yeah, I like hunting out of a tree stand. Well, we have a lot of trees around here, so well, actually, two places I have don't have a lot of trees, but I mean, most of deer hunting around here for archery is done out of tree stands or some like the blinds. Um, the blinds are nice in the wintertime because they block a lot of the wind,
Yeah, yeah.
but I still prefer to be up in a tree stand. I can see so much more. I can see them coming in instead of like, oh, there it is. No, you didn't stop where I could shoot you. Yeah, I don't have a window over there. I can't shoot.
How does it work over there? Like, are you allowed to bait them in, or all that sort of stuff, or is it just different for different
No.
states? Some can, some can't, or
Well, here in Nebraska, you can't put bait out. If you
yeah,
have salt blocks or mineral blocks or anything, it's got to be gone. I think 30 days before the season starts.
no, yeah,
If you have feeders, you can't hunt within so many yards of a feeder. You could
yeah,
have the feeder there, but you can't hunt over a feeder.
yeah,
Um, so we just don't do it now. There may be other states that have different rules. I don't know all the rules for all the
yeah.
states because I don't hunt in them. I just hunt Nebraska.
Just explain some of the memes I see about guys, sitting in their tree stand with a 20-pound bag of corn, chewing on it.
Yeah.
Personal consumption.
Yeah. Now, in the farming process, if they spill corn or anything, that's just part of the farming process. I know a friend of mine, he did the combining for, he took the corn out and he accidentally spilled some as it's going around the corner by his tree stand, of course.
Accidentally.
Farmer says, I know you're hunting this year.
Oh, that's gold. See, we don't have anything like that because everything we hunt is feral. So it's all, it's no holds barred. Kill them all, which way you want. It
Yeah, especially the
makes,
hogs, man, they can get really bad.
oh yeah, and they do a lot of damage, a lot of damage. But it's funny because most of the pig hunting here in Australia is done by dogs. 90% of it anyway. And those guys are fit. chasing them down on foot. That's
Yeah.
just madness. And then wrestle them to the ground and stick them with a knife. He's just going, okay. That's a young man's game.
Yeah. Must not be very big hogs then.
Oh no, they're big hogs. They're just mad guys. They basically get the dogs grab them from each side and basically protect the hunter from the tusks. And then he comes in, grabs them, sticks them a few times. Those boys are mad. Those boys are mad.
Yeah.
Give me a very large caliber from a long way sitting in the back of my truck. I'm happy.
Yeah. I see some videos of guys, shooting them from, night scopes.
Oh
The
yeah.
hogs are out there and then they just doop, doop, doop.
Well,
And
yeah.
just shooting from
Can't do
distance.
that.
They'll run off and then they'll come back and
Yeah. Yeah, they're not real bright, the old pigs. We're not allowed to have silencers, so one shot and they're gone. So a lot of the stuff, if we're going to shoot them, a lot of times we'll get a few guys together and we'll just run around in trucks and stand in the back of the trays with shotguns. And
yeah.
you basically, when we're doing a proper cull and it's not out there for sport, it's, we're just culling, we'll just get a big line of trucks and go through a whole field, all lined up. And the rule is you basically drive up on the pigs and just shoot them point blank. It's not very sporting, but it certainly works on getting rid of the population.
Well, it's like when you got mice in the house, you put a trap out.
Mm.
It's the same thing. You're eliminating a pest.
Yeah.
It's just, you can eat the hogs. I don't know if I want to eat a mouse.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to eat the pigs around here. They've all got worm and all sorts of stuff in them. So
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of lot of guys trap them, and then they'll feed them on grain for 6 months or so, and worm them and all that sort of stuff. But most of us don't really want to eat that sort of stuff. But yeah, you cut them open, they're just riddled with tapeworm and all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah, you don't eat them then.
No. So it's just column. I did see a video a little while ago. Some guy in the States, he's mounted a minigun to his truck.
Oh,
That's a great way to do it.
yeah. I've seen videos of them shooting from helicopters and everything else,
Yeah,
just going by and just shoot them as they're going. They're running, just
yeah,
shoot them, and
that'd be fun. Shooting them out of a helicopter. I reckon it'd be hard, but it'd be good fun.
yeah.
This guy, had a minigun. I think he was a Texan. Had to be Texas, I reckon. With a
Yeah,
laser.
probably.
Yeah, with a laser pointer, shooting them at night. It was pretty cool. You just see these pigs just disappear in a cloud, in a cloud of red mist.
That's one way to get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're real destructive.
Oh, apparently there's no such thing as being overgunned in Texas. Too much
No,
gun.
no.
We always used to laugh about that. If you had permission to shoot the kangaroos or something like that, you'd been pig shooting, and then you pull out your 30-30 or something and shoot a kangaroo with it. It was overkill.
Oh, it don't take much to kill the kangaroo then, huh?
No. A well-placed headshot, you could do it with a 22, I think. But yeah, I think most pig shooters use a 223, or that you call it something else. I think you call it the NATO round or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah,
223.
5.56.
Yeah, 5.56.
There you can't tell the difference really at looking at them. There are
Yeah,
slightly difference in them. The 5.56 is generally a little bit heavier bullet, little more power behind it.
yeah,
And the 223 is a little bit lighter load.
yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, there's pretty much nothing in Australia you couldn't kill with a 223, unless you're up north shooting Cape buffalo. Then you need something a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to go after them with a 223.
No. No. We usually use elephant guns for that stuff.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'd even go with my odd 6. I think that might be a little bit light.
Yeah, no. I've got a mate who does it. I think he uses a 45-70 lever action. That does a job. There's a round that doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be somewhere up there. 500 Weatherby Magnum. That's about where I'd start, I reckon. It's something big. They're a big animal. Big animal. But yeah, that's the only thing we've got. And
Well, you do
we've got
have a
nothing.
variety of things to hunt and fish and all kinds of
Sorry?
cool stuff. You do have a lot of different variety of things to hunt and fish and
Yeah, so like we do a lot of fishing. I think there's not many Australians who don't fish because we're surrounded by water. So we're good there. Hunting, yeah. Well, we've got a bit of deer now. There's a lot more choices there if you want to go deer hunting. We've even got the fence crap now where you can go and shoot them in a fence.
yeah. That's not hunting. That's just good. That's just getting fresh meat.
Yeah, that's they put GPS trackers on them and all sorts of stuff now. I don't get that one. But so there's a bit of choice there, but mainly, if you're just going out the back of bush on a mate's cattle property or something like that, you're just shooting pigs. That's about it. Feral goats. Goats are bad here, up north especially. But they're dumb as hell. They'll just stand there and look at you while you shoot the whole herd. That's more target practice than anything else.
Yeah.
Can't eat them. They taste like crap, so you can't eat them. There's just what they do is usually they kill a heap of them, pile them up, and then come back a few days later and shoot the pigs.
Oh, yeah.
That works well. But at least we've got nothing around here that'll hunt you or eat you. Except the sharks maybe, but nothing on the mainland that'll actively hunt you. Not like you guys have got. You got bears and all sorts of crap, mountain
Yeah.
lions.
Yeah. Fortunately, we don't have any bears here in Nebraska, but we do have lions.
Yeah, see, no,
Not a big population, but we do have some.
yeah, so that counts me out.
Yeah.
We make up
I've
for
seen a
it.
couple.
We make up for it in for snakes and spiders that'll kill you instead.
Oh, yeah. We
At
have a
least
few of
they're
them, but
hiding
not too
in the
much.
trees. They're not hiding in the
Western
trees.
Nebraska, you got the rattlesnake, but
Oh, really?
yeah, not
Got
really
a
much
few.
here on this end, but
See, we got snakes everywhere, even in the cities. Just snakes everywhere. And not the nice ones either, but it keeps you on your toes.
yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you never know where they're going to be at.
Yeah, and we're not allowed to kill them either. That's the funny part.
You got the poison snakes and you can't kill them.
No, not allowed to. It's like the crocodiles. The crocodile population has exploded in Australia. They're everywhere, and yet they're still protected. We're not allowed to kill them. So we've got to wait for a few more American tourists to come over and get eaten, and then they might change the rules.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the
Well,
last
I'm
one
not
was
going to
really
volunteer for that job.
It's always the tourists, though. They're always the tourists. They
Well, it
mustn't
seems like
like
some of them they're just not smart enough to figure out. It's like, this is a wild animal. This one can eat you. I want to get a picture with it.
Yeah, yeah. Or there's a big sign saying crocodiles don't swim here.
Yeah.
So they go and swim anyway. No wonder why they get eaten. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because
And
the things
sometimes they're not too smart, but
that,
hey, we've been talking for about an hour and a half now, so
oh, cool. Well, there you go. I was worried about filling in the time talking about me.
yeah.
I'm not that excited. Wait till this guy hears me. He goes, "Oh God, I've got a dud."
It always goes longer than what I allow for it, but I do normally allow an extra hour afterwards, just because sometimes it go long. But
No, it's right. You can edit all the crap out of it now. You'll have a good 10 minutes in there.
oh, I don't edit podcasts.
Oh no.
I don't. I just upload them live. Well, not live, but I mean, I just upload them as they're recorded.
Well, this will be
If you say
interesting.
something stupid, it gets in the video or the audio.
Well, I'll see how much hate mail I get after you put it up. That'll be funny.
Yeah, it'll go on my YouTube channel,
Yep.
as well as the audio part goes on Spotify, and
Oh,
I
cool.
think Apple, as there's Audible. You can also listen to the podcast on Audible.
Oh, that's awesome.
Go out there, go on audible.com and search for Archery Talk 101, and you can listen to it there, as well as in the Archery Talk 101 Facebook group. I'll upload the video there since I couldn't go. It didn't allow me to go live for some reason again.
Well, that means we didn't get any hate while we were doing it.
Yeah.
I'll get a message from Rio later going, "Stop telling people I know you."
Yeah, well, if they don't like what you said, I guess they can come on the podcast and talk about themselves then.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, get him on next. They'll go, "Oh, that Bricey guy, he's a wanker." All right, well, I'll love you and leave you then.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we go?
Oh, look, mate, I like this sort of stuff, people putting it out there. I'm retired from the international stuff now, but archery has been one of those things that's given me so much. Met so many people, really nice people. I've had such a good time doing it. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm still gonna, shoot nationally and probably I want to give back to the community that's given me so much. So I'll get into the coaching now that I'm getting a bit older and all that sort of stuff. Once I learn how to shoot a hinge properly, I'll teach others how to do it.
That is one thing. If you're going to teach how to use one, you need to know how to use one.
That's it. That's it. Oh, I might become a specialist on taking punches and turning them into shooters. But no, so I'm looking forward to that part, and I'm probably going to try and stay away from the committees and all that sort of stuff. I don't do well with that sort of stuff. I get the irrits, and I'm going to start telling people what I really think, and it always ends up.
Yeah, sometimes that works out, sometimes that doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't. But no, that's basically what I wanted to say. Like, if anyone's listening to this and they're thinking about getting into archery, do it. It's a great sport. I love it, and it's something you can do forever. I like 53. You can start at 5, and I know guys in their 80s they're still shooting. So it's a great sport for that.
Yeah, and by the time I'm ready to get back into it, I'll be getting closer to 70. So I'm 69 now. March I'll be 70, and it's going to be a while before I can even draw my bow back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Right
the best
now,
thing.
I'm still restricted. I can't even lift much.
No, but that's the thing, that once you can start pulling your bow back, it's going to help you recover a lot faster.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. I always say, I'm very fit from the nipples up.
Well,
You
that's
never.
kind of what archery does, right?
You can use that one, mate. You can use that one.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I guess I hadn't heard that before, but that's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. You just got to be careful who you say it in front of.
Yeah. Yeah. You just said it in front of a whole bunch of people.
Oh, well, that's right. I live in Brisbane. I'll pick you up from the airport if you want to come and whinge. All good. Thanks for the opportunity to have a chat, mate. I'm sorry it took so long. I
Oh
know you've
no,
been.
that's fine. I had them go anywhere from 45 minutes to 4 hours.
Yeah.
I was getting talking to one. It's like, man, we've been talking for 4 hours. Jeez, where did time go? You just get going, and
Yeah.
I try not to go that long just because it gets kind of long, and then
Yeah. Watch
I
people's
try to
eyes
keep
glow.
it an hour and a half, just because that gives us time to chat about stuff and take tangents and come
Plenty of
back. Hey,
Well, we
I don't
managed.
mind taking tangents. It's all fun. We just
Yeah.
get to talk and
Well, we managed to stay away from the politics and the religion, so that's a good move.
Yeah, we kind of stay away from those. But hey,
Yeah.
wherever you want to go is fine with me,
Yeah. No, I don't want to tempt fate there. No, all good. Well, mate, thank you for the opportunity. It was very enjoyable. It was good meeting you too.
Yeah, it
Hopefully
was
I'll
nice meeting you and
see you at a
uh,
Vegas shoot or something.
yeah. Yeah, we'll have to keep in touch and let me know how things are going and
Yeah.
maybe when you
Everyone
come to
listening, you can follow me on my Facebook page. Helps the sponsors. Sponsors love Facebook page, Instagram. Follow me.
yeah, what I'll do is I just go ahead and send me the links for those and I'll put them in the description and
All
make
right.
it
Yeah.
easier
Cool.
for them to find you.
Yeah.
That way they can get a hold of you and you send me the links, then I don't have to try and track them all down and
Yeah. No.
make
I'll
sure I
send
get
you
the
all
right one.
that.
Sometimes I'll look up somebody's name and it's like, okay, here's 4 profiles. They're all different. They're different ones. Which one is the right one? And then you have to look at like, oh, okay, they're an archer. Okay, that's this, or whatever. So yeah, just send me the links in Messenger and I'll add them to the description
All
And
right.
when I put on the YouTube channel, I'll put them in the description there for it as well.
Cool.
And you'll go from there. And it's been a lot of fun talking to you. And
Well, mate, if you ever want to chat again, give us a call. Too easy.
yeah, yeah, we'll do that. Maybe we'll catch up a little bit later when you have something exciting going on. We can,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, get ready to go to
All
the
right.
Vegas or something. Maybe we'll chat,
Oh,
when
that's
you
a good
get ready to go
idea.
to Vegas or after you get to Vegas or something,
Yeah.
and let us know how it's to go in there. And
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good. Like, I'll go and crash tackle Rio and get him on.
yeah, hey, anybody wants to come on, it's that I don't restrict it to any specific person. It's like if you've never shot a bow and want to learn, hey, come
Yeah.
on, we're ready to talk. Or
Okay.
like you, that's been an international archer or semi-pros or professionals or Olympic archers. I even talk, to different vendors and
Yep.
manufacturers and of different items. And hey, it's like we start talking archery, that's all we care about. Like, let's talk archery and go from there. And those that have businesses, we promote the businesses on here, and whether it's
Yep.
archery or not, just because, hey, let's help each other out. And
Yeah. No, that's great. It's a great way to do it.
yeah,
Excellent. Talking about businesses, I better go and do some work.
yeah.
I've got a medical center to build.
Oh, yeah. So what time of day is it there?
Right now it is 11:41 a.m.
Oh, okay. Because it's 8:42 here. So yeah, you better get back to work.
All right, mate. It was good chatting to you.
Yeah, good chatting with you. My name is Roy Canterbury, and I've been your host today on Arch Talk 101. And we had our special guest Scott on here, and we enjoyed talking with you. At least I did anyway. Enjoyed talking with you, and we'll catch you later.
See you, mate.
Yeah, see ya.